We will now look at the prepend method for the single linked list class. The prepend method is basically to insert something at the front of a single linked list. We have two scenarios here, one in which the single linked list already have some elements and one in which the single linked list is empty. So if we look at the code, the heading of the method, public boolean prepend, and it receives an integer new element as parameter. So first line of code in the method is to create an element. It is called temp, and we pass it the new element received as an integer as argument. This will call the constructor of the element class to create a new element. We are not providing anything for the next, so hence the next variable in the element will still be null. The second line of code, if temp equals null, so just checking whether this temp element has been created. If it is not created, it will return false, else it will continue. The next line of code there, if head equals null, which basically means we sit with something looking like this, an empty single linked list, then we need to point both the head and the tail to our newly created temp element there and there. So it will look like this. There's our newly created element. So the next, obviously, will be where the next will be pointing to null, like that. And both the head and the tail pointers will be referencing my newly created element, which is called temp. Okay. The next part of code is the else part. So if our list is not empty, then it will look something like this. So then we're going to create a new element. It is called temp. Temp.next. Basically, this next pointer must point to where my head was originally pointing to. And the next line of code is basically to deal with my head pointer. So this head pointer must now refer or point to my newly created temp element. And that will prepend an element to the front of the list.